In the world of console gaming, a world now embracing cross-platform play with the PC and other consoles, mod support and the ever quicker deployment of updates to games, and of course Sony being total asshats and not living up to their slogan of for the players when it comes to cross-platform play. So with all these achievements for console gamers to enjoy, there's always been a company or two to not inherit any of these newfound features and just do their own thing. That would be Overkill Software and Starbreeze. Let's talk about them. As much as I like the silly heisting bag throwing simulator known by most of you as Payday 2, I find it incredibly troubling to be a part of a fanbase that simultaneously feels sorry for their console brethren and hates them to oblivion for not playing the PC version. Pick a lane already, fanbase, you can't have both. This stems from Overkill's unwillingness to update the console versions of the game in a timely manner, and I don't just mean waiting a few weeks between updates, I mean actually waiting months for an update that doesn't even bring it up to par with the Windows and Linux versions of the game, and I cannot stress enough how stupid that is. Now of course, many of you will probably stop this video here to say, well, it's their fault for playing a console port that's out of date. First off, screw you for judging other people's choices, especially since graphics cards and RAM have been rather expensive as of late, and are only just coming down in price, meaning consoles were desirable during that time, especially if you wanted to play a game that was fairly well rated on PC at least. Second, I cannot think of a single other company that only updates their games to an arbitrary point in time, and not tell anyone about what's in that update. Consoles have made strides in updating games to the point where most games are a few weeks behind their PC counterpart. Other companies oftentimes delay the PC port specifically to make everyone play on the same update. Does Overkill do this? No. That would require actual compassion for the console portion of the player base instead of thinly veiled attempts at interest and humour in update videos which shouldn't really exist in the first place. Overkill and Starbreeze are a repeat offender when it comes to updating the console ports of Payday 2. They have the same behaviour on the PS3 and 360, and while I will fully acknowledge that it was mostly Sony and Microsoft's fault for being complete dicks, forcing a monetary charge to release updates on consoles to developers, that outright killed many genres of video games like the console MOBA, which didn't start becoming a thing until the next generation of consoles on the Xbox One and PS4. However, that does not excuse Overkill and Starbreeze, or OverBreezes, as I'll henceforth now be referring to them as, for keeping the system and behaviour of neglecting the console player base in the present day, when most other companies have moved on and started to cater towards their console player bases with regular, timely updates. Their attitude towards consoles has always seemed to have been to shaft them no matter what. This is most evident when OverBreezes announced the Switch port of Payday 2 back in late 2017. Me and many others expressed concerns over how at that point the PS4 and Xbox One were still being ignored and were still massively out of date, and they still are compared to the PC platform. There was much skepticism as to how up to date it would be and what the Switch version could offer aside from portability. Turns out our skepticism was very much justified. Not only was the Switch port not up to date to the PC port, it was out of date between versions on the PS4 and Xbox One. I mean, how much more of an insult is it to players who were expecting to, at the very least, be up to date with other consoles, only to find it wasn't? Proof if proof were needed that OverBreezes have no intention of even keeping consoles up to date with each other, let alone with the Windows and Linux versions of the game. Also, brief side note, I'm not sure if I find it both depressing or amusing that A, the PC port gets all the love and consoles don't, and B, the Linux version of the game, which I can guarantee you has a way smaller player base than any of the console bases for Payday 2, is more up to date than the console versions on a 64-bit version of the diesel engine, runs better in my experience anyway, and most importantly, it has no bokeh lighting effect when you look at drill screens. They also mostly ignore the Linux player base too, aside from a mention back in the Search for Kento event about a 5.7 crashing bug, and a bug fix for fixing the ocean in Scarface Mansion at the start of 2017. I'm starting to sense a pattern here. Okay, side note over. Do I trust these two bastard companies anymore? No, not at all. For all the good they've done on PC, they outright refuse to deal with the console versions of the game until it pleases them, or something. I'm not even sure of their thought process aside from deliberately dicking over customers who have the audacity to buy the console port of the game and expecting updates. Shock horror. You know, like most other games that get frequent updates on PC normally do. I've got no clever joke to end this episode with, nor an ultimatum for OverBreeze. Nothing I say will matter, and I am sure as hell OverBreeze won't listen to anyone but company members when it comes to consoles. Instead, I'll repeat what I said on Twitter when Overkill released a half-assed update on the PS4 and Xbox One fairly recently. What a complete joke of an update. It took you 8 months to port over 3 heists, a new character, and their perk deck, and a few new weapons. Get your act together already. This isn't fair on console players, and it makes you look bad. And with that, I sincerely hope they start listening to their console brethren and make an effort to do meaningful updates more quickly instead of BSing console players around and are adding even more angry players to an already angry fan base. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, see you later.
Enough?